Success is not the achievement of recognition from others. It is the activation of recognition within yourself. Let me submit to you today that the greatest hindrance to your destiny is not the opposition around you, but the devaluation inside you. You have been walking past treasure because you convinced yourself you were looking at trash. The manufacturer never creates junk, yet you have been treating yourself like a clearance item, waiting for someone to validate your worth. That stops today. Listen carefully, because I need to challenge your thinking at the core level. The reason most people never maximize their potential has nothing to do with lack of opportunity. It has everything to do with internal poverty. You see, poverty is not lack of money. Poverty is lack of knowledge. And the most dangerous poverty is ignorance of your own value. You cannot access what you don't believe you deserve. You cannot attract what you don't think you're worth. And you certainly cannot become what you refuse to value. So we're dealing with a crisis, not of circumstances, but of consciousness. The world has programmed you to seek value instead of recognize value. They taught you that your worth must be earned, proven, validated by external sources. Your parents had to approve. Your teachers had to grade you. Your peers had to accept you. Your employer has to promote you. Your partner has to choose you. You have been living like a product on a shelf, desperately hoping someone would pick you up and say, "I'll take this one." That is not how the manufacturer designed you to operate. You were not created to be selected by the creation. You were created to manifest the Creator's purpose, which means your value was embedded at inception, not acquired through performance. Here's what happened. Somebody lied to you, multiple somebodies actually, and you believed them because the lies came wrapped in authority, repetition, and sometimes even love. They told you that you weren't enough, that you needed to become more, achieve more, prove more before you could matter. They said your mistakes disqualified you. Your background limited you. Your appearance defined your opportunities. Your education determined your ceiling. Your age made you either too young or too old. Your circumstances created your boundaries. And the most dangerous lie of all, that your value fluctuates based on other people's opinions. Wrong. Completely wrong. Fundamentally wrong. Manufacturer design, wrong. Let me give you kingdom truth that will destroy those lies. When the manufacturer creates a product, the value is determined at the point of design, not at the point of sale. A diamond has value whether it's sitting in a jewelry store or buried in dirt for 1,000 years. The location doesn't change the composition. The conditions don't alter the worth. What makes a diamond valuable is not where it is, but what it is. And you are not what happened to you. You are not where life placed you. You are not what people said about you. You are what the manufacturer invested in you at the moment of your creation. This is critical. Your value is not performance-based. It is design-based. The manufacturer doesn't create and then wait to see if his creation will be worthy. He deposits worth first, then releases the creation to discover what was already placed inside. You are not trying to become valuable. You are trying to recognize the value that was buried in you before you took your first breath. There's a massive difference. Think about this logically. If your value was truly based on achievement, then what happens when you fail? Do you lose worth? If your value was genuinely tied to other people's opinions, then which opinion counts? The person who loves you or the person who rejects you? If your value was actually connected to your current circumstances, then when circumstances change, does your worth evaporate? No. 1,000 times? No. Because value that can be added can also be subtracted. But manufacturer assigned value is permanent, irrevocable, and non-negotiable. You have been living with a beggar mentality when you were designed with royal DNA. Kingdom citizens don't beg for value, they decree from value. You don't need anyone to give you worth. You need to stop letting people steal the worth you already possess. The issue is not addition, it's recognition. You're not trying to gain something, you're trying to remember something. The manufacturer already said you were fearfully and wonderfully made. He already called you his masterpiece. He already embedded purpose, potential, and power in your design. Your job is not to convince him you're valuable. Your job is to stop arguing with his assessment. Let me take you deeper into manufacturer principles, because this is where transformation happens. Where purpose is not known, abuse is inevitable. When you don't know your value, you will allow yourself to be misused. You will accept treatment that contradicts your design. You will settle for relationships that depreciate you, jobs that diminish you, environments that devalue you. Why? Because you're operating from a position of gratitude instead of a position of standard. I should just be thankful someone wants me. I should just be grateful I have this opportunity. No. Gratitude is beautiful, but it should never cause you to violate your manufacturer specifications. Here's the principle. Never ask the product what it's for, ask the manufacturer. When a car breaks down, you don't interrogate the car about its problems, you consult the manual. You contact the manufacturer. The car doesn't have the answers about itself. The Creator does. Yet you have been asking yourself why you are broken, why you're not working, why you don't fit, why you feel incomplete. Stop asking the product. You don't have those answers. But the one who designed you does, and he never creates without specific purpose. This means your value is tied to your assignment, not your accomplishments. Your job is what you're paid for. Your purpose is what you're made for. Don't confuse the two. You can be wildly successful in your career, but completely failing at your assignment. Many people are climbing the ladder quickly, but the ladder is leaning against the wrong building. They're achieving goals that were never their purpose. They're collecting accolades that mean nothing to their design. And at the end of it all, they feel empty because success without purpose is just decorated failure. The manufacturer judges you by specifications, not by current performance. He doesn't look at where you are. He looks at what he put in you. God doesn't see you as you are right now. He sees you as you were designed to be. Your current condition is not your original design. You are not a mistake trying to fix yourself. You are a masterpiece covered in dust. The value is already there. It's just buried under layers of wrong thinking, wrong relationships, wrong environments, and wrong beliefs about yourself. Now let me show you something that will shift your entire perspective. The wealthiest place on earth is not the bank vault. It's not Wall Street. It's not Silicon Valley. The wealthiest place on earth is the cemetery. Millions of people died with books still inside them. Songs that were never sung, inventions never created, businesses never started, problems never solved. Why? Because they never valued themselves enough to believe that what they carried mattered. They waited for permission, they waited for validation, they waited for the perfect moment, they waited until the graveyard. You don't look like what you carry. Everything God created is full but looks empty. A seed looks insignificant, small, ordinary, forgettable, but hidden inside that tiny seed is an entire forest, apple trees, shade, fruit, oxygen, shelter for birds, beauty for generations. All of that is compressed inside something you could hold between two fingers. The seed doesn't look like it carries forest, but it does. And you don't look like what's inside you either. People see your current circumstances, your education level, your job title, your relationship status, your bank account, but they cannot see the solution you were born to deliver. They cannot see the impact you were designed to create. They cannot see the assignment heaven deposited in your spirit before you ever entered earth. This is why you must value yourself, not because of arrogance, not because of pride, but because when you devalue yourself, you devalue your assignment. When you diminish yourself, you diminish the solution you were sent to provide. When you treat yourself as insignificant, you're calling the manufacturer a liar. He said you were created for purpose. He said you were designed with intention. He said you were his workmanship created for good works that he prepared in advance for you to do. Are you going to believe his assessment or the world's opinion? Let me give you a story to illustrate this. I once met a woman who worked as a janitor for 15 years, minimum wage, cleaning offices after everyone went home. She believed that's all she was qualified for because she never finished high school. That was her ceiling. That was her identity. That was her value in her own eyes. But one day, something shifted. She was cleaning a corporate office and overheard executives complaining about employee retention. They couldn't figure out why people kept leaving. As she cleaned, she listened, and she realized she knew the answer. She had been observing their culture for years. She saw what they didn't see. She knew what they didn't know. Now, the old version of herself would have stayed quiet. Who was she to speak? She was just the cleaning lady. She had no degree, no credentials, no right to voice an opinion to executives, but something in her awakened to her value, not her position, her value, not her title, her worth, not her credentials, her design. So she wrote them a letter, detailed observations, practical solutions, kingdom wisdom wrapped in business language. She valued what she carried enough to release it. 6 months later, she was no longer cleaning their offices. She was consulting for their company. They hired her to fix their culture because she saw what their degrees couldn't see. She solved what their education couldn't solve. Why? Because her value was never in her position. Her value was in her design. And the moment she recognized it, everything shifted. Today she runs her own consulting firm, helping companies with the exact problems she used to observe while holding a mop. That's what happens when you decide to value yourself. You stop waiting for someone to discover you, and you start manifesting what the manufacturer already placed in you. Stop. Before I continue, I need to interrupt your thinking. Let me ask you something, and I need you to be honest with yourself. How long are you going to let other people's assessment of you override the manufacturer's design of you? How many more years will you spend trying to prove your worth to people who don't have the authority to assign it in the first place? How much longer will you ignore the restlessness inside you, that constant whisper saying, there's more, there's greater, there's something you're supposed to be doing? If something is stirring in you right now, if you feel that dissatisfaction, that holy frustration, that divine discontent, that's not depression. That's your potential banging on the door of your consciousness, screaming, let me out. Stop burying me. Stop hiding me. Stop waiting for permission to become who you already are. The wealthiest place on earth is the graveyard. And if you're still listening to me, if you're still breathing, if you're still here, it's because heaven refuses to let you be buried there with your music still inside you. So what separates the graveyard from destiny? One thing: decision. Potential without decision is just cemetery material. Knowledge without action is decorated ignorance. You can understand every principle I'm teaching and still die full if you don't make the decision to value yourself enough to activate what you carry. Let me give you the stages of activation. First, wake up. You cannot change what you tolerate. You cannot fix what you deny. The first step is waking up to this truth. Where you are is not where you belong. Your current reality is not your final destination. What you've accepted is not what you were designed for. Wake up to the gap between your potential and your current performance. Wake up to the difference between your assignment and your activity. Wake up to the reality that you've been living below manufacturer specifications. Second, remember, you're not trying to become something new. You're trying to remember something original. Stop building an identity. Start recovering your manufacturer's design. You had value before the world told you that you didn't. You had purpose before people told you that you couldn't. You had assignment before circumstances told you that you shouldn't. Remember who you were before the world told you who to be. Third, decide. This is the pivot point. This is where everything changes or everything stays the same. Will you die full or die empty? Will you carry your seeds to the grave or plant them in earth? Will you value yourself enough to release what you carry, or will you keep waiting for someone to give you permission you don't need to decide? Not tomorrow, not when you feel ready, not when conditions are perfect. Today, now, this moment, decide that you will no longer devalue what the manufacturer valued enough to create. Fourth act, find your assignment. Identify the specific problem that only your unique design can solve. Then get up and do it. Stop asking, can I? Start declaring, I must. Stop saying, maybe someday. Start saying, starting today. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. Start creating with current circumstances. The graveyard is full of people who were going to start tomorrow. You were not born to just pay bills. You were not born to just survive until retirement. You were not born to just exist until you die. You were born to solve a problem. You were born to answer a question. You were born to provide a solution that only your unique combination of gifts, experiences, pain, and purpose can deliver. Listen to me. I'm not speaking to who you are right now. I'm speaking to who you're becoming. I see it, heaven sees it. The only one who doesn't see it yet is you. But something is shifting right now. Something is breaking. Something is awakening. You thought you were ordinary? Wrong. You are a solution wrapped in skin. You believed you were insignificant? Wrong. You are a divine answer to a human problem. You assumed you were too damaged? Wrong. Your pain was preparation. Your mistakes were education. Your setbacks were setups for what's coming. Your birth was not an accident. It was strategic, calculated, deliberate, divinely orchestrated. Heaven had a problem that only your unique design could solve. That's why you're different. That's why you never fit in the boxes they built for you. That's why normal never satisfied you. That's why average always felt like imprisonment, because you weren't designed for average. You were manufactured for impact. You were designed to value yourself enough to release your assignment. You were created to recognize your worth so you would pursue your purpose. You were built to understand that success begins not when the world validates you, but when you decide to value what the manufacturer already valued when he made you. And I prophesy to you today, the graveyard will not have your potential. Your seeds will not die with you. That book will be written. That business will be started. That song will be sung. That problem will be solved. That impact will be made. What you've been carrying in secret will be manifested in public. What you've been hiding in fear will be released in faith. What you've been waiting for permission to do, you will do with divine authority. This is your hour. This is your moment. This is your season. The waiting is over. The hiding is finished. The devaluation stops today. What you've been carrying, it's time to birth it. What you've been doubting, it's time to believe it. What you've been postponing, it's time to start it. You have permission, you have authority, you have assignment. The manufacturer already said yes. Stop waiting for people to validate what heaven already authorized. You are not a beggar hoping someone will choose you. You are royalty, remembering your original authority. You were manufactured in the image of a king, which makes you a king. Kings don't beg for value. They decree from value. Kings don't wait for permission. They operate in authority. Kings don't question their worth. They manifest their purpose. Now go and be who you were designed to be, not who people told you that you were, not who circumstances tried to make you, not who fear convinced you that you should be. Be who the manufacturer created you to be. So what do you do now? Let me give you 4 clear instructions. Number 1, identify your assignment. Stop being busy with activity and get focused on assignment. Write down the specific problem you were designed to solve. What breaks your heart? What stirs your passion? What do you see that others miss? That's your clue. Your assignment is hidden in your burden. Find it, name it, own it. Number 2, stop waiting for validation. You already have permission. The day you were born, heaven authorized your assignment. You don't need credentials to start. You don't need a degree to begin. You don't need everyone to believe in you to activate what you carry. The manufacturer believed in you enough to design you for this. That's the only validation you need. Number 3, start today, not tomorrow when you feel ready, not next month when you have more money, not next year when you have more time. The graveyard is full of people who were going to start later. Later never comes. Today is your moment. Take 1 step. Write 1 page. Make 1 call. Start 1 conversation. Build 1 thing. Do something today that moves you from potential to manifestation. Number 4, value yourself enough to protect your assignment. Not everyone deserves access to your purpose. Not every opportunity is your opportunity. Not every door is your door. Learn to say no to good things so you can say yes to God things. Value yourself enough to guard what you carry. Your assignment is too important to be diluted by distractions. You were not born to be a copy. You were born to be an original. And the world is waiting for what only you carry. Die empty. Leave nothing buried. Give earth everything heaven put inside you. Success begins when you decide to value yourself. And your decision starts right now. If this message awakens something in you, share it with someone still sleeping on their potential. Your assignment isn't complete. It's just beginning.